Hand. And face the flag, please. Right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we have one item to report out of closed session. The board took action in closed session to reject claim number 21. Sorry, the vote was approved to reject the claim by a motion from Mr. Watson and a second by Mrs. Garibay. There are 5 ayes, 0 nays. Motion passed. Okay, moving on to approval of the agenda for June 3rd, 2025. Can I get a motion to approve?
Move to approve the agenda as is.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the regular meeting of the governing board for May 20th, 2025?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Okay, moving on to our hearing session. We have a lot of excited students and families here for our recognition for Student of the Year. So we will go ahead and get started. And one of our, who's leading us? Mr. Clement? Wonderful. Take it away, Mr. Clement.
Okay, so we are here tonight to recognize some students. So I'm going to have them all come up and bring their award. And we're going to stand up here and make a line. So if you guys want to go ahead, don't be shy, come on up. Bring your award, turn it around so we can all see it. All right, so as they come up, I just want to recognize that these students are really demonstrating their ability to be a role model. They have excellence in academics and study habits. They're overall good citizens. They're very hardworking. They're kind, considerate, helpful. They're considered leaders on their campus. They demonstrate perseverance and they go above and beyond. And that's why we're here to recognize them tonight as being the selected Student of the Year for their school site. Let's give them a round of applause. Okay, so each school site. Let's give them a huge round of applause, everyone. And we're gonna take a picture in a minute, but before, while you guys are still up here, I think we're gonna turn it over and have the board say a few words. So just hang tight. I'll turn it over to the board.
All right, board members.
Well, congratulations. That is quite an accomplishment. Student of the Year for your entire school site. We want to thank you for everything that you've done this year at your schools, especially the leadership that you've demonstrated in front of the rest of your peers. Thank you so much for contributing to your schools. Congratulations to you and congratulations to your parents.
Congratulations to all of you. Although it's the Student of the Year award, as you heard from Mr. Clement's comments, a lot of what this is more than just student achievement and academics. It's about the leadership skills that you've shown, about the kindness and courteousness that you have towards your fellow classmates. It's also about being a really good person. And so thank you not only for your academic achievements, but also for the great things that you've done at your school sites. Thank you so much.
You guys have some serious bragging rights. So while you might maintain your humility, which I would appreciate at the same time, don't be afraid to talk yourselves up because you definitely deserve it. And thank you to the parents for supporting and helping your kids and teaching them. Thank you.
I echo everything that my colleagues have said. Thank you to the parents and teachers and staff and everyone that got you guys here today. So congratulations and good job.
What a wonderful way to wrap up our school year, recognizing amazing students like all of you. You are, as Mr. Clement said, you are, really the entire package. You guys are doing well in your classes. You are, great with your, I was gonna say colleagues, but with your classmates. You guys do a really good job. You have a great attitude and you're really shining. So congratulations. We're so proud of you and keep shining and doing great work. And now the fun part, we get to take pictures. So parents, if you'd like to take some pictures of your student, now's the time. Start with the board pictures. Yeah.
Fancy red Wilson. Stuff.
Subat always in there for the pictures.
Yeah.
One.
Okay. Families, if you'd like to take a picture, we'll stop the meeting. We'll reconvene at 6:45. So if you want to take a picture with your student, you're welcome to do that. And you're welcome to either say, or if you would like to leave at this point, you're welcome to do so.
Okay. And then this is another one, and then like this to go out. Yeah, different topic.
Oh, for each
like
of the-
this, Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's go ahead and reconvene the meeting. We are going to move on to our advance written request to address the board regarding agenda and non-agenda items. I will read my spiel. Board bylaws 9320, 9322, and 9323 each speak to the process used by the governing board to allow for public comment during its meetings. The bylaws are in compliance with the Brown Act and other applicable law. Board bylaw 9323 specifically outlines the process for members of the public to address the governing board on agenda and non-agenda items that are within its subject matter jurisdiction. Members of the public wishing to address the governing board are asked to do the following prior to the start of the public comment section of the meeting. Agenda to ensure that appropriate time is allotted to all interested speakers and topics. The speaker must either complete a speaker card for each item they desire to speak on and/or notify the assistant to the superintendent of each item if attending the meeting in person. This notification is requested to allow the board president to consistently implement public comment guidelines provided in Board Bylaw 9323. Members of the public wishing to make public comment via telephone or virtual meeting software must notify the assistant to the superintendent via email no later than 4:30 p.m. on the day of the scheduled meeting to ensure that the person has the same opportunity to address the board under Board Bylaw 9323 as those who are in attendance. Each speaker is allowed 3 minutes per topic for public comment. The total time allotted for each topic is 20 minutes. Depending on the number of persons wishing to be heard on a single topic, the governing board may adjust the time allotted for each speaker or the total time allocated to the topic issue. The president of the board may take a poll of speakers for and against the topic issue to determine how best to allot time on each topic issue. Members of the public who wish to address the board do so either in person or via Zoom. A speaker may read a statement from an individual not in attendance. However, their allotted speaking time will not be extended to reach such a statement. A timer visible to all attendees will be used to manage time during public comment. Any speaker who exceeds their allotted time will have their mic cut off. To ensure that non-English speakers receive the same opportunity to directly address the board, any member of the public who utilizes a translator shall be provided at least twice the allotted time to address the board unless simultaneous translation equipment is used to allow the board to hear the translated public testimony simultaneously. Please remember that state law prevents the board from acting on any matter not listed on the agenda or from discussing any matter in detail. And I will go ahead and get started with our speaker cards. First up is Ingrid Boyston, speaking in regard to a summary. And next up is Michelle Joseph.
All right. Hello, good evening. I'm Ingrid Boydston. I'm sorry I haven't been able to make the last few meetings. I had prior commitments, but rest assured I have been in the classroom on a daily basis, attending meetings of the Behavior Council, as well as multiple training sessions on how to deal with the big behaviors. Parents, teachers, and community members have all asked me for my take on our progress this year. So that's why I'm here. That's why it's a summary. So last fall, teachers and parents all appeared before you to talk about the devastating situation occurring on a regular basis here in Saugus classrooms. It took a while, but thanks to parents and teachers who were brave enough to speak up and to the involvement of board members, especially Anna Grease and Patty Garibay, and to Dr. Hawkins, who made the time to come into the classroom so she could see firsthand what we were talking about, the first step towards solving our problem has been accomplished. We have acknowledged that we have one. That is a really big step for a district that was used to only ever receiving accolades. The night Mrs. Cooper stated that our hands are untied, referring to teachers' ability to use management tools and even suspensions as needed, I wanted to cry for joy. Not because I want to punish students, nobody does. Everybody wants to help them learn how to be upstanding citizens who understand boundaries, logical consequences, both positive and negative, who are capable of controlling their own behaviors independently. Well, we are now deep in the process of identifying the methods and the programs we think can help us attain that goal. I think it was wise to call off the second special board meeting that was going to be dedicated to behaviors because we actually don't have enough answers yet. But we do have a behavior council of passionate and dedicated teachers, including some of our cabinet members, willing to work together on the situation. We have another host of teachers who's been working on piloting different SEL programs to replace the one that was not working. PBIS has undergone undergone scrutiny. We'll have to see how that one comes out in the end. What still needs to happen? We need to keep our eye on this ball. We need to make sure that any programs we choose are actually able to be implemented with the resources we have in reality, not just on paper. We cannot simply expect the classroom teacher to take on more and more responsibility. We do need to clarify and communicate about those changes we made using management tools up to and including suspension to all of the schools so that every teacher feels not only protected, but supported and empowered to effectively help all of our students. We need to continue for ways to search. We need to continue to search for ways to lower the student to adult ratio. TK and TK students will have aides for 2 hours a day next year. And as long as we are able to train those aides sufficiently, that should be hugely helpful. We need to look very carefully to ensure that students with identified special needs are placed in classrooms adapted to meet those special needs. Their needs have to be met, as do the needs of every student in the classroom. We need to offer more support and gradually release that as opposed to the other way around. Too many of our big behaviors started in situations like that, not because of the special ed kids causing all of the big behaviors. Often it was the other kids who weren't receiving the attention they needed who acted out. So our summary, we have a problem. We're on the right path towards solutions. We need to be diligent and stay on it. And I wanted to thank everyone who has helped us come this far. I'm looking forward to next year now with high hopes. So thank you so much for listening, and may God bless Saugus.
Mrs. Boydston? Mrs. Boydston, a couple of things. First of all, thank you for your service in our classrooms.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for volunteering to be part of the solution.
Thank you.
Congratulations on making a 5-minute summary in under 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's my superpower.
I don't know that I got all of it. I did my best.
I'm sorry,
but
I can give it to you if you need it.
If you could email it to us, I'd appreciate it.
I'd be happy to.
Thank you very much.
Michelle Joseph, followed up by Karen Carville.
Good evening, board members, cabinet, colleagues, community members, and families. Today, I'm going to talk about teachers in Paris. I need to begin by expressing concern over the fact that incoming special education teachers and specialists are being sent into jobs without being trained on SACE, which is the IEP program that the district uses. There used to be trainings on how to properly use SACE, and now it seems to be up to other staff members to provide this training. So please start training the new employees on SACE in order to avoid errors and to help alleviate the work for other staff members. Next, I see she's not here, but I want to thank Dr. Hawkins for meeting with the paraeducators. This was a good first step. I'd like to recommend that prior to organizing any trainings for the current paras, a survey should be sent out to see what their needs are. Not every paraeducator will have the same needs, especially if they've been in the district for years. New paras should be trained on the type of situations and students that they may deal with, and the expectations in the classroom and on the yard. Some of the experienced paraeducators have suggested the need for input on topics such as the following: how to deal with eloping students, strategies to deal with specific student disabilities, how to manage the expected duties when the staff to student ratio is inadequate, how to use the IFP to better assist teachers and students. I'm not sure why or when the district chose to stop training new staff members on these essentials, but it's important to start them again. That would be like our start, stop, start, continue. We'd need to start the trainings again. It's also important to survey the experienced teachers and paras to find out what they need training in versus just providing trainings. Please reach out to both your classified and your certificated and see what they feel they need, because they are asking for things and it would be beneficial for them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Karen Carville regarding senior visit, and then Scoot education after that.
I wanted to first start off by congratulating all of our seniors these past few weeks graduating across our valley. As one of the biggest elementary districts here, we should be proud that we played such a big part in that achievement. Our elementary schools are the places that they first learn how to read, multiply, make friends, handle conflicts, learn the rules of handball, and all the other milestones. I want to thank all the elementary schools across our valley who welcomed our graduates onto our campus in their cap and gown for a quick photo op or take part in a school tradition. I provided some of those examples for you guys just for a visual. There was tons more. I'm sure if you're on social media, you saw so many of those cute events. There are many benefits to this visit for the seniors, providing a sense of connection to the past, positive emotions evoked by revisiting familiar places, sense of accomplishment. And for the students and teachers, there are benefits as well at our elementary schools, strengthening the school's connection to the wider community, foster a sense of shared history. Seniors can act as role models to our youth, and teachers can feel positive about their career choice and that they made a difference. Overall, so good. On May 12th, I asked my principal, Elizabeth Bellina, and office manager if we could arrange a time that was convenient for all to have this campus visit at Rosedale. My principal replied that they didn't have plans to arrange this. So I offered to do the work. I'll make the flyer, I'll handle the RSVPs for the security system, whatever is needed to make less work for the office. Miss Bellina responded with an emphatic no and stated if seniors came, they would be rejected and turned away. No conversation like, hey, the Tuesday after Memorial Day is minimum day. Maybe we can have them come at 12:30. Just a big fat no. Why does Elizabeth Bellina not want to do this and collaborate with a parent volunteer to facilitate this? Miss Hawkins, wherever you are, I need your help on this. My principal is not creating a welcome environment to this specific community and refuses to have an open dialogue with the parent that wants to help. This is a negative reflection on you. Your admin that you are in charge of refuses to have a special event like this. And I'm not accepting a Ms. Carville. This is a site-based decision. If that's the case, I want her gone and one of the other 14 principals in our district that embrace this free community event to replace her. Why am I so passionate about this? Because kids in SEL are my priority, and I will have a graduating senior and one still in elementary school. What better way to connect families? Oh God, Scoot education. Why is this on the agenda again? Really bored. Another Scoot education contract due to the shortage of substitutes. So let me get this straight. We will pay $100 extra for them because we have a shortage. Why do we have a shortage? Anyone know? I have already raised some red flags that subs are not treated fairly. They are blocked and no reason is required. My kid could have kicked some teacher's kid's butt on the soccer field and she could call Barbara up in HR and block me from the whole school with no reason. Why do we have a shortage of substitutes? Has anyone asked? If 80% of teachers dislike this district, what percentage would subs be? So I'd like these questions answered. I emailed all of you a few days ago with all of these questions and I never got an answer. So I will rattle them off. Approximately how many subs do we have certificated and classified? Number 2, on average, how often do they work? How many work for more than one district? 3, out of the number of these employees, how many are blocked from one or more of our schools? 4, what's the max amount you have needed in one day? 5, is there a board policy on how a sub can be blocked from a school? I already know this answer. There isn't. Does a person have to give a reason to your department? I already know that answer. They don't. Do you offer feedback to that sub, opportunity for clarification or training? You don't. 6, what sort of incentive do you offer to work more, if any? 7, are subs ever invited to any yearly trainings on behavior, classroom management, et cetera? You know, listening to your training suggestions, I've been working for the district since 2019. I've never, ever been invited for any trainings at all. So if somebody is upset with a sub, just know that the district kind of sets us up for failure. Elopement, I mean, I kind of know what to do. Sure, block the door, call a walkie-talkie, something. I don't know. Anyways, number 8, has the district ever thought of surveys to subs on working conditions, grievances, etc., to provide an environment that's more favorable? So before you pass this contract, I would really appreciate clarifications. And let's get to the problem of why we have a shortage of substitutes. A little shout out, I sub also for the Hart District. I bugged Mr. Vieira, he's so sweet, for us to get a Hart District email. And he did it. So now all of us substitutes for the Hart District have an official email So I get information on board policy changes. I get all their wellness kind of fluff stuff on how to be better teachers. It's easier. Lesson plans can be sent to me and responses back. So lovely.
Thank you. And moving on to Frank Smatters regarding Santa Clarita Elementary.
Yes, I'm Frank Smathers. I live in Saugus. Both of my daughters are graduates of Foster Elementary, very good school. The reason I'm here, some of you may know already if you went to a 7-Eleven meeting. I really, really love the architecture of Santa Clarita Elementary. It's an amazing mid-century modern building. It's a style all of its own. And through the 7-Eleven meetings, as you know, there have been many, many suggestions, and many of them very good, about what to do with that property. My personal preference is to, in one way or another, save the building. And I know it's very difficult, and I've talked with people about all the problems there. But what I would like to do, and I've been doing it a bit already, is try to find something like a historical society or a group or a company that would be interested in helping us save the building. And I know from the 7-Eleven meetings that the board is going to get a report soon on what the 7-Eleven committee wants done or suggests. And I don't think it includes anything in regard to having a special task force to investigate how could the building be saved. So it's kind of like me and a few other people who are very interested in that. And I've approached some entities like the LA Conservancy to see if they might be able to help us, and it's possible that they will. But why I'm here tonight is because at the last meeting, Colleen told me to ask the board if I can get permission to go to the school and take some pictures of it so I can show it to whoever might be interested in doing whatever they can to help save the building. And that's why I'm here. And if you've ever been there and stood in the middle of that building, it's totally unique. It's almost spiritual. If you haven't been there, I would suggest go. Well, it's all locked up now, but if you can't see it from the outside, you can kind of see that it's curvy. I drove by there for 30 years, didn't know it was a circle. My daughters went to Foster. So it wasn't until the first meeting about what's to be done with the school, I just happened to hear about it, went there, and I was stunned when I walked into the interior of the building. So please just give me an hour or so to go in and take some pictures. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smatters. If everybody's okay with it, should we?
Is it something, it's not on the agenda?
It's not on the
We can vote
agenda.
on it.
Right. I don't think we need to vote, but maybe we can redirect you back to Dr. Hawkins and set up an appropriate time.
Perhaps you can talk to Dr. Hawkins and see if
Yeah.
it's something that the board needs to take official
take a vote,
action
that-
on. If so, I'd like to request it be put on the
Agenda of the
for
next, yeah,
meeting.
okay.
Otherwise, perhaps Dr. Hawkins can work directly with Mr. Smathers to.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking, is
Yeah.
that you could work directly with Dr. Hawkins. I don't know, it requires a
Yeah.
meeting for, it doesn't require an official action.
Referred him to us. I'm thinking she may have something in mind. So.
Okay, so we'll follow up with, I will follow up with Dr. Hawkins, and then we will follow up with you. Thank you. Appreciate your time. Okay, moving on to our Saugus Teachers Association, Ms. Linda Valdez.
Good evening, board members, cabinet, colleagues, community members, and families. Congratulations to our award recipients. Be selected as Student of the Year is such an honor, and that really is quite an accomplishment. So we're always very proud of our students. Well, can you believe it? We made it. Literally 8 more days of school to a well-deserved summer break. This has been a busy, busy year. E-Board and bargaining team members attended the CTA Summer Institute. We secured extra duty pay for teachers who participated in the extended Capturing Kids' Hearts PD. Bargaining team provided an earlier than usual sunshine proposal for the 2024-25 school year. They started the negotiation cycle early with 13 main articles, which were opened. 24 articles were agreed upon. 29 items were proposed. 14 times were spent at the table. So that was quite a busy year for them. We worked collaboratively, literally going through every single article within the contract because the entire contract was open. So that was of great value because it's put us in a very cool position in that we did such a good job at the table this year that we're pretty set up for next year that we're going to, for the first time since I can remember, if ever, be negotiating ahead as opposed to retroactively. So that's quite an accomplishment. We're really excited about that. And we thank our bargaining team so much for that as well. We worked with the district to reopen closed classrooms, Mr. Heinlein, for specialists in special education. We ratified an independent study contract early for an MOU for 1- and 2-day ISCs with increased compensation for all days. We created an STA task force to look at special education and one for looking at instructional minutes. We conducted a teacher survey, which opened up discussion about morale, communication, supports, conversations with the districts and led to increased board member visits. As a matter of fact, Mrs. Cooper visited my classroom, last week, I think, and she ran a reading center. She guided our students through our Adopted Wonders curriculum, and thank you so much for that. That was a lot of fun for them. They really obviously love to show off their skills, so that was really fun to be with you. We held candidate interviews for SUSD School Board. We participated in site visits and capacity building efforts. We ratified an MOU for universal dismissal times, minimum day Wednesdays for increased planning time and staff meetings during the contractual workday. We opened lines of communication with our school board members. Thank you so much, Mrs. Grease and Mrs. Garibay, for communicating with us frequently about how things are going and when you have questions. Mr. Trunky, thank you as well for reaching out and asking to meet with us recently. That was a great opportunity for us to talk with you about some of the things going on. And you asked for us to update you on RSP caseloads. There was a meeting that was held with Ms. Berries and Dr. Stevenson and also with Darcy Quinn, and lots of different things were talked about. And so the resource team will be working with our superintendents on problem solving different things, especially in terms of RSP caseloads, because that is important in staying compliant with Ed Code. We created an STA Google Classroom to provide access and resources to and information to our members. We distributed a newly formatted Stay STA Informed digital newsletter. We call it Stay Informed. We had e-board members elected to the Bay Valley Steering Committee and also to executive officer positions. We ratified an MOU for our DLI teachers, a stipend for them to recruit and to retain. We attended meetings with Congressman Whitesides, Assemblywoman Schiavo, and Senator Valladares. We participated in CTA lobby days in Sacramento. We held equity team meetings, and 5 members attended the Equity Human Rights Conference. We had members attend the CTA Special Ed Conference and the CTA Good Teaching Conference. We applied for and received membership engagement grants, site visit grants, organizing grants, and conference grants. We worked diligently on bringing our tax filings to date and reinstating our chapter's tax-exempt status with the IRS. We also secured 2 new CTA recommended accountants. We participated on the District Special Ed Task Force, the Behavior Council, the Pacing Committee, and SEL Committee, amongst other committees. We met with board members and community members to discuss concerns and problem solve, and thank you so much to the community members and parents who reach out to us who have concerns that they'd like to discuss and talk about. We represented numerous teachers on leave or those who were meeting with administration. We held Q&A informational general membership meetings, virtual and in person, for universal dismissal, TK&K, special education, preschool, DLI, and more. We increased participation at board meetings during public comments. We recruited speakers, which led to the formation of a behavior council and an SEL committee. All e-board members attended meet and confer meetings with the district cabinet, which was really great for all of us to have the opportunity to talk with you directly about the issues and concerns that come from our members. We have onboarded our school psychologists to CTA, STA. We welcome them to our chapter, and we appreciate their faith in us to represent them. Our tentative agreement was ratified for the 24-25 school year with a 2% salary increase. And in these times, that's a big deal. So thank you for digging deep to help figure that out for the upcoming years. And for the first time, I can remember the idea of us negotiating in the future as opposed to retroactively. The impact that will have is tremendous. The ability to kind of look ahead and not be concerned about retroactively how will pay look and how will sick days look and how will all of those contract things look in the past as opposed to in the future. So it's really imperative that we continue to do that. We have lots of people who've stepped into STA leadership this year, and we are thankful to each person who saw the importance in representing their colleagues' rights and working conditions. It is an absolute above and beyond type of position to be in, and it's definitely a labor of love, and it's imperative. And so we're really, truly appreciative to each person who has stepped up in that way. We'd like to thank our outgoing e-board members, which are us and Cassie Rivera and Teresa Garcia, who are not here this evening, but they've opted to not continue for different reasons. You know, family comes first. And Teresa, I'm just going to put this out there, is she'll be retiring. She's made it known after next year. So she has one more year with us in the district, and she is of incredible value and has been such an asset to our district. So we're grateful to her. And our new team will include Alicia and myself and Stevie, but also Jamie Vincent, who's not able to be here this evening, but Ingrid Boydston will also be joining our e-board. And our bargaining team will continue. They were amazing. And we're going to have Cameron, Katie, Michelle, Denise continue, but we also have Brandon Holsclaw, who's going to be joining. He headed up our special ed task force this year for STA, so he was able to hear a lot of the concerns that came out of our special education programs, and so he will be able to sit at the table and kind of talk to those things when they meet. And of course, our honorary member, Michelle Joseph, I love it. I love it. I love your perspective and your experience and all the things. And then you just come on up here, sister, and you're welcome anytime. Okay. So we thank you all very much. It's been a busy year, and we know that. And we're so grateful to be participating in the process with you. Thank you so much to administrators, our teachers, all of the above. So thank you all, and have a wonderful summer.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, and thank you, CSEA.
Speaking of CSEA, come on up.
Good evening, Cabinet, board members, community members, and families. Congratulations to the recipients of the Student of the Year Award. What a wonderful group of stars. May your light continue to shine bright as you inspire others through your example of excellence. The school year is coming to an end, and classified employees are looking forward to the summer. This has been a challenging year, with student behavior continuing to be a main concern. We are happy that Dr. Hawkins shadowed some of our classified employees and had the opportunity to witness firsthand the work they do. Paraeducators in the preschool program are experiencing uncertainty regarding their hours for next year. Some feel they will be forced to resign. Many paraeducators take this job because it aligns with their children's schedules, allowing them time for pickup and after-school activities. Many other paraeducators have second jobs to make ends meet. We would like the district to prioritize the needs of its employees before the bus scheduling and related needs. The paraeducator's time frame at school should not be extended. We congratulate our sixth graders on their well-deserved upcoming promotion. We are excited for what the future with endless possibilities has in store for them. Personally, this time is bittersweet. I have worked with some of the students graduating for many years. Although I am super proud of their progress and accomplishments, they will be sorely missed. Many classified employees will be working over the summer, while others look forward to having a break. We thank all classified employees for your contributions this year. Know that you are valued and that you are recognized as an essential part of this organization. We wish everyone a happy summer. We have accomplished a lot this year, and thank you. We look forward to all classified employees who always give the best of themselves to come back ready for a new school year, stronger than ever. Thank you.
Next up from the Saugus Administrators Association, Ms. Amy King.
Good evening, board, cabinet, and guests. My name is Amy King, principal at Mountain View Elementary School, and I'm happy to represent the Saugus Administrators Association this evening. Congratulations to all the students who've earned the recognition as Students of the Year. Thank you for representing our schools with such exceptional commitment to both learning at high levels and demonstrating kindness to your community. As we come to the close of the school year, it seems appropriate to celebrate some of the highlights for what has been truly an inspiring and transformative school year. We're proud to have our schools recognized as America's healthiest schools, reflecting our commitment to creating a safe, supportive, and health-conscious environment where students can thrive, both physically and emotionally. This distinction speaks volumes about the intentional work of our staff and the systems we built to support the whole child. Our guiding coalition has continued to drive our vision forward, serving as catalysts for collaboration and leadership. Through their efforts, we've seen improved instructional alignment and stronger systems that support both student achievement and professional growth. A highlight of our Guiding Coalition's work was the successful implementation and completion of our 100-day plans. These action-oriented plans helped us sharpen our focus on instructional excellence, data-driven decisions, and high-impact strategies to accelerate student learning. One outcome of all this incredible collaboration has led to Saugus Union School District being named a National Model PLC at Work District. The support and guidance of our district office has been instrumental in leading us in this valuable work. We are especially proud of the academic progress our students have made as we emerge from the challenges of the pandemic. Not only have they rebounded, but they have demonstrated meaningful growth, as noted by a study from Harvard, Stanford, and Dartmouth. This is a testament to the dedication of our teachers, the resilience of our students, and the unwavering support of our families. Finally, this past week, we had the honor of celebrating some of our schools as they were recognized as California Distinguished Schools, a prestigious honor that validates the excellence of our academic program, our equity-centered practices, and our culture of high expectations for all. As we celebrate these achievements, we're equally excited about what lies ahead. The upcoming school year brings fresh opportunities to deepen our impact. We'll continue the work of our professional learning communities, PLCs, ensuring that collaboration remains central to improving instruction and outcomes for every student. We are incorporating new learning and strategies to support both the academic and social emotional needs of our students, because we know that success in school is more about just test scores. It's about developing confident, capable, and compassionate learners. We're also revamping our schedules in response to the new universal dismissal time, optimizing every minute of the school day to ensure it serves the best interests of our students. And above all, we remain firmly committed to our mission of helping all students learn at high levels, no exceptions, no excuses. I want to thank our incredible team of educators, our supportive families, and of course, our amazing students for making this year so successful. With the momentum we built and the vision we share, I'm confident that the best is yet to come. Thank you for your continued partnership and support.
Naomi, our PTA.
Hello, good evening. I'm Naomi Alcock. I'm the Mountain View PTA president this year for the 24-25 school year. As I look back at the past year with Mountain View Elementary PTA, one word comes to mind, and that is growth. It's been a year of learning, connection, and transformation. Most importantly, it's been a year of growth, a growth in our programs, a growth in our impact, and a growth in our membership. We saw growth in our membership with more parents, teachers, and students stepping up to get involved. That growth made a real difference, not just in the numbers, right? And it's 889, just in case you're wondering, to brag for us, but in energy and ideas and the impact that we made together. This year, we focused on supporting our students in meaningful ways, and that meant bringing more academically focused events to Mountain View. We had events such as STEM Night, where we partnered with our local high school students who shared their enthusiasm in science, technology, and engineering and math and brought it to our elementary school kids who just thought it was the coolest thing ever, right? To have students like themselves teaching. We had a library night where we partnered with our local libraries, promoting literacy for all. We also hosted an authors night where we had local authors from our school community as well as authors from Santa Clarita Valley. So that was really fun. And we had our first ever science fair. Our students showcased their inquisitive nature and backed it up with science. And I think Mrs. King and I both shared that we learned a lot from our students that night. It was incredible. These events gave our students new opportunities to learn, explore, and grow outside the classroom, and they loved it. But our growth didn't stop there. We also made it a priority to celebrate who we are as a community. Our multicultural night was a beautiful reflection of the many cultures and backgrounds that make Mountain View such a special place. And we celebrated student talent at our spring festival. We had some guys that can groove, right? And with some girls that can really belt out some tunes. So they shined and showed us just how much they're capable of. Most importantly, we were intentional about the inclusion of students of all abilities. We made it a priority to create events and environments where every student felt welcome, valued, and part of the fun. Because who doesn't want to have fun? I want to have fun. That's why I joined the PTA. Because true community means showing up for every child exactly as they are. PTA is synonymous with meetings, fundraisers, some more meetings, and maybe being aggressively recruited to volunteer. These are all necessary to do the work that we do. But the purpose of PTAs is to build a school community where every child feels supported, seen, and encouraged to thrive. It's been a privilege to lead the initiative of fostering an inclusive environment where every student has a place at the table. I'm incredibly grateful to Mrs. King, to our administration team, and to our executive board for their support and shared commitment to community. And to our incoming board, we wish you all the best as you take the lead. I'm excited to see how you keep this momentum going and continue to make space for everyone to be felt and, to feel, space for everyone to feel seen and valued. And board, please come to one of our events. They are a ton of fun. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, Miss Mary Mann with the Child Development Programs.
Thank you. Our expanded learning program continues to grow, and it's adapting to the diverse needs of our students and our families. This summer, in addition to our core STEAM camp, we're so excited because the after-school program is offering 2 bonus weeks, and it's enriched programming. Our VAPA specialists are planning theater, instrumental music, and visual arts. They're ensuring that students have meaningful opportunities to explore creativity. But in addition to that, there's something going on at Cedar Creek, and that is the Edible Schoolyard. And that Edible Schoolyard team is fantastic. They're passionate, and they'll be joining us in the summer, as they're joining us now in the extended learning program after school at Cedar Creek, to teach hands-on lessons in sustainable agriculture and culinary arts. They're empowering students with practical skills and skills that deepen a connection to the food that they eat. Meanwhile, at our preschools, they're getting ready for, they call it graduation. Sorry, 6th graders. And they are transitioning to TK. They've made impressive strides in literacy, number sense, and social emotional learning. We're proud of their progress. So thank you, board, for supporting us. Thank you, cabinet, staff, partners, families, and friends for your continued support. We have a shared mission to provide engaging, inclusive, and enriching experiences for all students. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to our cabinet reports, Ms. Berry.
All right, thank you. I want to say congratulations to all the Student of the Year Award recipients. Many of you come from schools that are really, really large, 889 students, and to be recognized out of all of those students for your accomplishments this year is really huge. And also for the parents and the staff, and I don't just say teachers that have supported the student along the way this year to become their very best and to show up their best. I appreciate you as well. We are coming to a close, as many people have said. Thank you, STA, for a wonderful recap of things I forgot. We get so busy with all of the things. When we accomplish something, we tend to move on to the next task and challenge it. But it was a great summary of all the things we really have accomplished this year. And I want to wish everybody a wonderful, relaxing break. Some of us are going to be on a much needed break, and the others of us are gearing up for a wonderful summer experience for our students. And I know when we get to the end of this car ride, many of us want to jump out of the car and take a break, but I really appreciate those who step up year after year to make sure that our summer program is a fun and wonderful experience for our students, because it is. That first day is really like magic, and we wouldn't be able to have as large of a ESY/STEAM program that we do without the people volunteering to step up and make sure that the kids have a lot of fun and the learning continues. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Clement?
Well, that was number 2 on my list, so I'm just going to keep going with the thank you for everyone for all the work that they've done to prepare for STEAM and for ESY. We have some added integration of science this year into the language arts, and that I think is going to be very exciting. So we've had a lot of training with some teachers preparing for that. So I just appreciate everyone's hard work. We're also coming to a close with our state testing, and our LPAC tests are all done. So that is a huge accomplishment as we wind up the year. We're starting to get just a tickle of scores, and that's all I can say about that. But I'm just going to keep going. We've also had our parent class for PK, which is the Parent Institute for Quality Education, just wrapped up last week. So I heard Mrs. Mann knocked the keynote out of the park from what I gather. So we appreciate all the parents who participated in that and all their feedback. So with that, I look forward to the LCAP tonight.
Ryan?
Just congratulations to the students tonight, and I will save the rest of my words for our presentation.
Thank you. Dr. Stevenson?
All right. Congratulations to our Student of the Year award winners, like my colleagues here, and I can probably just say ditto with everything that they have said. I do want to thank both STA and CSEA for their collaboration this year. We did definitely accomplish a lot with both units and look forward to working with them next year. And then we have 8 days left. Is that right? So let's get through the last 8 days. Hope you all have a wonderful last week of school and a wonderful, relaxing summer. You deserve it. Thanks.
You on to our board reports. Mr. Watson?
So what was it, about a week and a half ago, I enjoyed visiting a few open house events. I started at Cedar Creek before heading over to Rosedale and then Rio Vista, where I discovered that I probably did my visits in the reverse order than the way I should have, finding out that at Rio Vista, their open house began with Dr. Nevares and several others dancing baile folklorico. So I missed that because I was there at the end. But of course, I had to rush out of Cedar Creek and miss the tacos that they were serving so that I could get to the others. Do it backwards next year. I also attended the Distinguished Schools celebration last Friday evening as 6 of our schools were recognized. So proud of our schools as we're standing in this huge banquet hall, hearing the schools announced from across the state of California and hearing Saugus Union School District announced over and over and over and over again. Very proud of the work that our schools have done, and it was a wonderful evening. And as the school year comes to an end, I know our administrators are already involved in the preparation for the new school year. Our staff is reflecting on the successes and lessons learned from the past year and looking forward to a well-deserved break. And our students are excited to head off to summer vacation and in some cases, junior high school. So indeed, I want to congratulate our 6th graders on their promotion and on all of you for a fantastically successful school year. I look forward to continued growth and improvement in many areas in our district next year, but I want to once again express our gratitude for all that you, students, staff, administrators, families, and community, for all of your contributions to our school district this year. And Mrs. Berries, as you described the school year as a wonderful car ride that some are excited to jump off of, I just want to encourage all of you that before you do that, that you make sure that the school year has come to a full and complete stop. Enjoy your summer.
Thank you, Mr. Trunke.
Good evening, everybody. I last night attended the PTA Awards banquet from the SCB Council PTA. A lot of our PTAs received membership awards last night, and a special shout out to our very own teacher Katie Arnold, who received an Outstanding Teacher Award from the Council PTA. Congratulations, of course, to all of our Students of the Year. I also attended the Distinguished School Awards ceremony down in Anaheim. A wonderful day of activities down in Anaheim, and lots of picture taking. If any of you want copies, Sue Bet is an expert now at airdropping photos, and she has lots of them. And then lastly, I just wanted to give a shout out to our very own hero over at Foster. One of our campus supervisors, Ms. Gafarian, gave the Heimlich maneuver to one of our students who was having an issue. So thank you so much to her. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Ms. Cooper?
Okay. I did go to Sky Blue. As much fun as it might have been for the kids, it was way more fun for me. So not only did I get to read with the kids or them read to me, they sang to me on the way out. So that was cool. Also, thank you to Mrs. Fannin, who took me through the reading journey. So she had them do some Haggerty and from sound all the way through Orton Gillingham and writing. And it's just like watching the whole process. So thank you for doing that for me, I guess, you know. And then I also went to Mrs. Maccabee's class. I have always known that it takes a very special heart to be a special education teacher, but sitting in that classroom, she has 3 grades and every child is in a different place, and she manages to teach all of them where they need to be taught. I just was absolutely blown away. She is an absolute miracle worker. As I am certain that all special education teachers are, I just have never witnessed them in action. I also got to meet campus supervisors. I got to meet Ms. Powell, Ms. White, and Ms. Patty. And one of the campus supervisors said that near the end of the year, she starts bringing the kindergartners up to learn how to swing and learn how to play on the toys. And you never think about that. Like she wants them to be comfortable, coming in the first day. And that was really, really cool. Mrs. Maccabees also had some paraeducators with her, Jocelyn Ryan and Andrew Choi, who just were amazing and helpful. I choose to believe that maybe it was a breakdown in communication or whatever, but I will certainly follow up with Miss Belina, because I still have the picture of my daughter and her friends in front of Highlands. And I also had the opportunity to take my daughter with me to visit Highlands, and we went into Mrs. Brower's class. And so, Mrs. Brower was like, this was my student when she was shorter than me. And so it was really neat for my daughter to see the little kids where she used to be. So that was just a really special day for both of us, I also went to a couple of open houses, but I did them a week apart. So I stayed the whole time at just one. It was much easier. I did the 3 in the past. At Helmer's, I got to witness the gate projects. So I'm sure that you all saw this at whatever back to open houses that you went to, but it was neat. You could see the thought that went into it, and the extra work. And then I also went to open house at Highlands and saw their science projects, which were just really incredible, and the thought process and the scientific method, and the kids it was very impressive. I also went to Anaheim for the Distinguished School ceremony. I got in almost 7,000 steps because they had us parked 3 miles away. Not literally, but but I'm so proud of our district, and it was a really great day. And I just want to thank the you know, the people who went for welcoming us to share it with you.
Thank you for driving.
Oh, absolutely. I have control issues. I'm glad to have you guys with me, but I had to drive, so. And I also went to the PTA banquet. Again, very proud of our district. I mean, so many awards, and actually there was 2 that weren't there. And so if there's anybody here from North Park and Charles Homer's Elementary, if you want to get your certificates and take them back to your PTA. If not, I'll give them to Ms. Dahl and she can handle them. And great cupcakes. So that's it for me. Looking forward to a fun summer, which of course I don't get summer off, but I will visit the STEAM camp again this year because it was just fun.
Thank you. Ms. Grease?
Nothing for me.
And I'll keep it nice and short. I wish everybody a wonderful summer. Congratulations to all of our promoting 6th graders. What an exciting time. My 6th grader is promoting, and it's a little bittersweet. It's exciting, but it's also a little sad too. But just congratulations to all of our students, and I hope everybody has a wonderful summer. Thank you for all the teachers and everybody, all the staff who've worked so hard throughout the year and who helped our students, achieve so much this year. So appreciate it. Okay, moving on to the consent calendar. Do we have any items to remove from the consent calendar?
I have a couple, and then I had questions that I wanted to see if Nick could answer.
Okay, which ones?
So H.1
H1.
and H.2.
H1, H2. Okay.
And then the questions for Nick were G14 and 15.
G 14 and 15. Okay.
And I would like to remove 3G15, please.
3G. So the Dave Bang Associates? Chris? I'm sorry, Mr. Trunky. Is it the Dave Bang Associates?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, great. Can I get a motion to approve the removed items from the consent calendar?
Are we gonna do them all together?
Should we do them one by one?
We can do them one by one.
We could do 14 and 15.
Yeah, let's do 14 and 15, and then we'll do the 15. Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Oh, we have now questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. Sorry. Now we have questions. Who had questions? You had
I
questions.
didn't know if you could answer the questions that I had through email.
Sure, but I think I'm going to hopefully answer them with a story.
Sure.
Okay. So item G14 and G15 are about the same thing. G15 is a contract with Dave Bang for the removal and demolition of play equipment at Santa Clarita Elementary School. So what they're going to do is they're going to take the play equipment apart, and then they're going to transport those pieces to Cedar Creek, and then they're going to cut the posts that are remaining off at ground level. Okay, so that's the amount for doing all of that work at Santa Clarita. G14 is for replacement posts to go with all the equipment that's going to be moved from Santa Clarita. It's also for slides, additional slides. There's also a spring rocker that Cedar Creek has had in their K area for a long time. We're replacing that as well. There's also a nature hunt panel, which is just some flat piece of play equipment that they requested. There are new swings going in at Cedar Creek. They haven't had swings in their large yard. There's also instruments. So we're adding these instrument play equipment things when we're refurbishing the play area. And the play area is also moving to a new location. So right now it's in a space that most likely would be where a potential future building might be if we do construction at that site for correction of the seismic issues there. And the area is also almost double in size, right? So the other thing at Cedar Creek is they still have sand in their area. So G14 is also all the rubber surfacing in both the K area and this new larger area. And then it includes removing what they currently have. So that's how it kind of gets confusing because, there's dual contracts and it's multiple campuses and we're reusing some stuff and then cutting some other stuff out. So um, when you compare like G15, which is about $45,000 with the cost of the new posts, so we can reuse that equipment, the new posts are about 18,000. So we're paying like $64,000 for their play equipment as opposed to probably well over $100,000 at this point. So it is a cost savings for us to save that equipment. It's just not a humongous amount like some folks might think.
Thanks. Any additional questions?
No, I would just wanted to make the comment that I saw the item and it said demolition, and in the rationale, I know that it talked about relocating the equipment from Santa Clarita. But I wanted to make sure that the public understood, because I know there was a lot of concern with some of the monies that were spent in the years leading up to the closure of Santa Clarita about the amount of money that had been spent on certain things. But this is the perfect example of how we're able to reuse a lot of that equipment and save some money by doing so. So thank you.
Okay, any additional questions? No, we had a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No, okay, motion passes. Moving on to H, we'll do H1 on its own and then H2 separately. So H1, do we have a motion and a second?
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. And we have questions?
No questions, just not approving.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Anybody have questions? Nobody? No? Okay, then all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Moving on to H2, do we have a motion and a second?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any questions?
No questions, just not approving.
It's not approving. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No? Okay, motion passes. Okay, so moving on to the rest of the.
Move to approve the remaining
Thank you.
items of the consent calendar.
Perfect. Second. All those in favor or any questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No, motion passes. Thank you. Okay, moving on to presentations. We have our local control and accountability plan presentation, and that is Mr. Clement.
Okay. So as Dr. Factor joins me and we get that presentation pulled up. Uh-oh.
We need to verify it's you.
Security. Okay, so as we jump into the LCAP tonight, this is going to be pretty quick because really as we're looking at going into year 2 of our 3-year LCAP, we're just going to mention a couple of the changes or additions to this year's plan. So if you go ahead to the next slide, Nick, this gets us almost to the very bottom of our beautiful color-coded schedule as our highlighted bar gets down there to the end. So we have one more to go and we'll be back essentially next board meeting to actually approve it. The purpose tonight is really to go over it and to do the hearing and to talk about how the LCAP is online for input. Go ahead, Nick. So these are slides that we've seen when we've done these presentations before, but I will just point out that this is the total for our unduplicated count percentage there. You can see 37.7 is that current number. And just a reminder that these funds are principally directed towards those unduplicated count students, although these funds do benefit all students within the district. Okay, go ahead to the next slide. Essentially, this LCAP, we're going to seek input tonight from the public as it's going to be available for review, and we'll be collecting comments or input that's collected online, and we'll be adding them to the feedback and the final revisions to the LCAP. Go ahead, Nick.
And then
Again, as a reminder, our LCAP goals must align to California's 8 state priorities, which we have already been approved that they do because we're continuing with our goals. And then we just ensure that our actions really tie into these goals as well as our metrics, which they have been approved to do. So we just continue, as Mr. Clement said, with year 2 of our 3-year LCAP. Next slide, please. And then here we have our 5 goals that drive a lot or most of the work that we do within Saugus. And they have remained the same. So goal number 1 is really ensuring that we're closing that achievement gaps. While all students achieve at high levels, we also want to close that achievement gap for our student groups. We really continue to provide that support for our English learners to not only succeed in their language development, but also to succeed academically. Goal 3 is really focused on creating that school environment, being responsive to both students and educational partner social emotional needs to increase engagement and connectedness. Goal 4 continues to engage our families and community in that decision-making process and to ensure that we are providing that basic conditions of learning for our students. And then goal 5 continues to provide opportunities for staff and students to see themselves represented in our school. So our metrics have remained the same, our goals have remained the same, and then we're going to go into some adjustments to our actions based on all of our analysis of the data as well as our input from all of our educational partners.
Okay, so essentially we're going to highlight 2 additional, they're not new actions and they're not new goals, but they're expanding current actions that we already have going on based on some of the feedback that we got.
Yeah, so I'm going to highlight one of the adjustments that we're making aligns with goal 4 with family engagement. We heard loud and clear from, I think, almost every educational partner group that the families and teachers and students have really appreciated the work that our family and community liaisons have done with bridging that gap between home and school and community, right? It really takes all of us. And so we've offered a plethora of workshops. We've done so much outreach. We've increased our ability to support families in multiple languages and really meet the unique needs of our different families, really for the sole purpose of supporting our families to support their children, right? That's the ultimate goal. And so loud and clear, we heard this is a priority, but we still found that we're not reaching everybody. And so what came out of the discussions and the input and the analysis was that we need more people and staff to support this process. So we increased our family and community liaison team by another person to help us do that work. So facilitate more parent and caregiver workshops, provide more not only translation for our students, but really supporting our dual language immersion program. One example, we did some extreme outreach this year to increase the enrollment in our dual language program of students who come from families that speak Spanish in the home and from multilingual students already. Previously, those students, they weren't at the percentage that we had hoped for. And so through the outreach of our family and community liaisons, we did increase and we reached our goal that we were hoping for. So we have more students in our dual language program who are Spanish speaking. And so by adding another person, that person can help support that as well as really reach out and connect with more families. We're excited for that addition. And then I'm going to hand it off to Mr. Clement for goal 3.
All right, so goal 3 centers around student engagement, but we are increasing services from our program specialist area. Basically, through needs assessment and looking at schools and data, we were going to support the MTSS process and really looking at some of our students within the significant subgroups, whether it be English learners, long-term English learners, students with disabilities, et cetera, really to make sure that students are receiving the supports and services from that whole child perspective, both the academic side, their services that their IEP might entail, and that sort of thing. So that's where that support will come from, is through that goal through Mrs. Barris's office. Okay, next slide, Nick. So really then, this is about gathering input. So this is a QR code that does take you directly to our draft of the 25-26 LCAP. which is on our website currently. So if you'd like to go there, you can click on that, and there's a forum you can provide feedback. And that's our end. We'll do the rest with the hearing when we get to that portion.
Great. Anybody have questions, comments?
I just wanted to clarify the process for providing input, and your very last sentence there, I think it did a great job at that. But as we've gone through the process starting in January, we've shared our goals at board meetings and in advisory councils, things like that. And you've been gathering input from the community all along. Is that where those expanded bullet points, the action items have come from? Is out of those conversations?
Yes, it's a culmination of really all the different groups that we've met with. There are commonalities for sure.
Okay. And so we'll be voting to approve or decline the LCAP in our next meeting. So when is the cutoff for community members to provide input?
Well, I mean, we have to make sure we have all those edits in for that next board meeting. So the sooner they can get in there, the better.
Okay, a reasonable timeline or a
right.
reasonable fashion.
But we'll be
Obviously, the
working on
hearing
it.
that we have, not the next item, but the following item on tonight's agenda is a great opportunity for folks to
Absolutely.
and comment on it. But you know, should folks be hearing about it for the first time this evening, and they want to make input,
Yep.
follow that QR code.
That's right. Log in.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
No questions. Well, maybe one question. Besides the QR code, is there going to be a parent square or anything with the QR code or any other information that goes out, or
We
we
haven't.
just need to direct people to the website?
Really, that's the point of the hearing, is really to have that open up and gather that input and let people know about the process. So, but we could do that.
Okay. And then the only other comment is,
about it.
thank you to all of the educational partners that have participated in the process, the Parent Advisory Council, the English Language Advisory Council, STA leadership, CSEA leadership. Obviously, there have been other teachers and certificated and classified staff that have participated, parents. Thanks to everyone for their input on the LCAP.
Anybody else?
Just thank you for all the work you've put into it. You've kept us up to date all along, so I don't really have any question.
Ms. Greaves? Nope. Okay, I just had one question. For the community liaisons, is there a community liaison at each of the schools?
No, they're doing.
Yeah, we have 5 currently. And so one of them is specific for homeless and foster youth students, and then 4 others. And they primarily, I mean, they work with students throughout the district,
Right.
but sometimes they're concentrated at events or working with our students at our Title I schools or working with our English learner families, but they reach out to all schools. So they kind of technically are housed at the district office, but they're never there because they're always out and
They're
about.
all out and about. And how do we make families aware of the community liaison? So if they want to get that extra support, how do they go about getting it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we always, first of all, their email is liaisons@saugususd.org. So they can always reach out to them directly. Every beginning of the year, they go and visit every PTA meeting. And so they'll continue to do that to introduce themselves. And then definitely, if a family wanted to reach out to somebody, reach out to the school site, the office, and they would help connect them to the family liaison. But we're also working on other ways to make families aware of how to connect with them.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing to, especially at the beginning of the school year, to just introduce them somehow. I don't know if it's back to school night or something like that, but just at least acknowledge that there's that opportunity for families to connect with them.
And they often are seeking the parent out specifically. You know, they've got they see a correlation to a training or something or event that's happening, and they'll reach out to them directly and contact the parent instead of waiting for them to reach out to us.
And I know they do a lot of presentations at Coffees with the Principals.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Great work, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the 25-26 adoption budget presentation with 24-25 estimated actuals. Mr. Heinlein.
Okay, let me the presentation. And I'll get started. So tonight I'm just going to present the current budget that does completely support the LCAP. but it will most likely change a little bit as we get closer to the end of June and the final version of the LCAP. So in our state, our budget process largely revolves around the governor releasing information, which first starts in January. Then in May, we hear the governor's revision. Followed by that, we typically receive a bulletin from LACO about their common message. This year we got it on Friday, so we couldn't really take much of that into consideration. But many of us did attend the School Services of California workshop, and were able to use their information as we look at our budget and future years. And of course, the Fiscal Crisis and Management Assistance team updated our local control funding formula calculator for use for next year. We're now kind of waiting for number 3 to happen, right? We are hearing on the news, the legislature debating about how to deal with this very uncertain budget future with the state, with not being too sure the size of the deficit, but really knowing that there is a deficit. But after they have the chance to debate, we know that typically they always pass something by June 15th. Then we'll see, hopefully the governor will sign that, and that'll give us really all the information we need to really firm up our budget. Then if there are significant changes, we do have our 45-day budget revision period that typically happens over summer. Here in our district office, we are at the end of May, June. We continually revise what are called our estimated actuals, which there's a current version of them tonight. And then, of course, working on the budget, factoring in any changes that we know of or come about. So I passed out tonight our very long assumptions. And so the next section about estimated actuals is just really comparing the two, I guess we could call that maroon columns. And it's really just looking at the changes from the last time the board reviewed the budget at second interim. Whoops. So I'll go through the next couple of slides quickly. There hasn't been that much change. We did have an increase in our P2 ADA, or average daily attendance, went up. That probably is a combination of the district's work on chronic absenteeism and also independent study contracts. So that was an increase in revenue. And then we also see some sales of property or surplusing, right? So every time the board approves something, we typically like to try to sell it. There is some movement there. When we look at our restricted revenue, right? So these are dollars that have kind of strings attached. We have some adjustments in the federal special ed dollars. Also, state special ed dollars changed. We have a new grant. I can never remember. I know it's CY, Michelle, CY. Yes, California. I know that part, right?
Gosh. See, California Youth Behavioral Health Initiative.
All right.
So it's about it's over a $700,000 grant. We received half of it, so that really takes the big percentage of that increase in our other local revenue. There's also a new program from the state. We finally got the funding for the literacy screeners, right, Dr. Fractor? That's also the difference since second interim. If we look at our unrestricted expenditures, what we have right there is the estimate of the increase for the 2% increase. But the 2% increase and retro will process the 7th. I think that processes the 7th, and then actually employees will get the checks next week. That'll give us a great chance to really look at the actual numbers and then revise these to make sure that they're as close as they can be. If we continue and look at our restricted expenditures, right, so that also reflects that 2% salary increase. And then you see large decreases in books and supplies and services and other operating expenditures. This is always normal at this time of the year, right? Because when we get grant money, we always budget that that's typically going to be spent all in that year until we know really towards the end of the year when it's not. And then Mr. Clement will let me know about their plan to spend those funds in the year after. So we always show that they're spent most during the year. And then when we get to this time of the year, we start backing it off because we know for sure they're not going to spend it. So that really accounts for those big swings. This next slide, C, our net increase decrease, that's what we always are watching, right? It's are we spending more than we receive, or are we not, right? So are we deficit spending? So we do show our deficit spending. We are deficit spending now for this year, which was planned, right? So we knew that that would happen once the 2% salary increase was finalized. When we look at our restricted revenue, again, this big swing is really related to those one-time grants and how they're typically budgeted, but not anything too surprising here. When we add those two slides together and look at everything combined, you know, our cash at the end of the year currently estimated to be about $32 million. But not all of that is available for reserve. So at second interim, we thought we'd end the year with a 12.59% reserve. We're currently looking at a 12.5% reserve. But again, we're going to really appreciate having those rock solid retro numbers after the end of the week in order to revise these estimated actuals for the next board meeting. Okay, when we get to budget assumptions, those really are the key to understanding what is going on. And so much of that is driven by our student demographics. So if we look at our student enrollment, I'm going all the way back to 1920, right, pre-pandemic. You can see that this year we ended up with 9,191 students. Looking into the future, we're really thinking it's going to flatline unless we see a great increase in development. So our district is still losing students until we see a new development, and then it kind of brings that decline up and keeps us where we are. We are also looking at our ADA, right? That's the purple bars. You can see the flip that happened during the pandemic when the state was paying us typically more. We're receiving more in funding than ever before, and now this is the second year where now we're back to normal. So really maintaining that into the future. When we look at our student demographics with regard to our unduplicated count, we declined a tiny bit this year, 0.18% decrease, but most likely that number probably will stay the same, or depending on what happens in our economy, it might change. Then if we look at the purple graph, those are our students with disabilities. So we can see since 2019-20, we have an increase, about a 24% increase in identifying students with disabilities. That may seem like a crazy number. The state's number is about 21% increase. So it's something that has happened since 1920. But our lion's share of our revenue is really made up of our local control funding formula, and that really uses three different things. It uses the COLA, or the cost of living allowance, that is a statutorily determined number, and then it is either funded or not funded. It is estimated to be funded next year. Then we have our unduplicated percent, so we're keeping that at the same percentage in the future. And then we have our grade span average daily attendance. We put all those numbers in that FCMAT LCFF calculator, and that lets us know our entitlement. When we look at all the other assumptions, I'm just highlighting a few things, right? So there's the COLA for 25-26, which is 2.3. We do believe that will be funded next year. 26-27, 3.02%, and 27-28, 3.42%. So those COLAs are actually part of how we determine our revenue in the future. So we are very sensitive to them. We are projecting that our staffing is steady, right? So we have the same amount of students in our enrollment, so we should need the same amount of staff to serve those students. There is a big expenditure in 26-27 for a new math curriculum, and then the TK ratio, right? So last year or this year, it's 12-1. Next year, it's dropping to 10-1. And the state had thought of earmarking some additional dollars to help pay for that. That is currently viewed as a risky assumption by School Services of California. So we are not assuming that we're going to get additional dollars at this point, but maybe that will change when there is some agreement in Sacramento. Okay, so if we look at our unrestricted revenue, so any growth you see in revenue right now is really based on the COLA, right? So from us going from $107 million to $110 million, that's really based on that COLA being 3.02%, right? So any of our state funding, we also believe that the COLA will apply to that. When we look at our restricted revenue, so our federal funding is very flat, so we don't anticipate any additional funding there. There has been talk of no more Title III funding. For us, that's $21,000. We have not taken that out of our budget yet. It's still in there because it's just currently a proposal. So the increases again are based on the COLA. Our unrestricted expenditures, the biggest difference there is that we have a historical growth rate in our certificated salaries of 1.65% every year. So even though, you know, the salary schedule, I think the percentage is somewhere between 3 and 4%, right? 4%. There are many teachers and classified staff that are at the top end of the salary schedule. That's why we only estimate about a 1.65% for certificated and a 1.95% for classified. The other item on these expenditures is that we increase our books and supplies and services by the California Price Index, Consumer Price Index, and that's where that growth or increase in those dollar amounts come from, both on the unrestricted side and the restricted side. Again, everything is very flat except when you add those items into the projections. When we look at our fund balance, next year, as things stand, we think we'll deficit spend about $2.5 million. The year after, $1.7 million, and the year after that, just a little bit, $21,000. Again, this is us being very conservative at this point, based on the determination from School Services of California. And then there's one item on here I wanted to highlight, and that's item D, I guess D 3D. It's an assigned balance. So there's $626,000 there. That's the cost of those electric buses that we have all those grants for. We already know they're not going to be here before July 1st. So we're going to have to assign those dollars into next school year and use them from there. Moving on to the restricted fund balance, that's pretty normal when you still have like a lot of one-time funds, right? So really spending those the rest of the learning recovery block grant and all the, I don't remember the other names, art music block grant, all of those need to be spent by next year or the year after. So when we look at available reserve, we think next year at this point, without further budget revisions, about 10.3%. The year after that, 8.98, and then increasing a little bit in 27, 28 at about 9%. With that, are there any questions?
Any questions?
Yeah, thank you very much for the update. I appreciate it. I'm looking at this multicolored printout that you gave us. Thank you very much. On page 1, lines 36 and 37, indicates that state funds and state aid have dropped a bit since second interim. Can you explain what those funds are and
Sure.
what accounts for the drop?
So really, to explain that, we have to look at line 52, which is the LCFF entitlement. So that tells me that our entitlement went up. So our entitlement is calculated by knowing our average daily attendance, and it's also by our unduplicated count. So at the end of our attendance period, or P2, like in April, was when we were able to calculate that our attendance rate, which we were thinking was going to be 8,862.71, actually ended up being 8,876.67, which is on line 20. So that increase, when we put it into the funding formula, tells us that we're entitled to additional funds. The other item that happened is that our property tax amounts are now known up until P2 from the county. So once we have our entitlement, we know that we're due $104.2 million. The first dollars that go into that entitlement, I always like to reference it as a bucket, are our property taxes, right? So we put our $35.5 million of property taxes in that bucket, right? So we're getting more property tax than we thought we were. That's on line 41. And then the next part that happens is the state funds fill up the rest of the bucket. So between the increase in our property taxes and the small increase in our total entitlement means that the state doesn't have to contribute as much as they used to. So it's true everywhere in our state, right? So as everyone's property taxes increase, the burden on the state decreases on how much they have to supply us in order for us to meet our entitlement.
That makes sense to me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow. Well done. So my follow-up question is, in the out years, those funds seem to increase significantly. Is that a reasonable assumption? That given the state of...
So now we're talking opinion, right?
Right, sure.
So when we build our budget, we go with best practice. Best practice is to use the school services dartboard, which is also always incorporates these COLA projections from the Department of Finance. So these COLA projections are created by our state. Okay. So that's why they're part of the numbers we use in order to determine our funding.
All right. Kind of an odd name for that tool in budgeting. I don't know that I'm happy with the phrase dartboard. But thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
One more thing, if I can point it out, since you decided to mention my assumption spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Is number 32. It says supplemental grant. And Dr. Fractor and Mr. Clement mentioned increasing 2 positions, right? Both of those positions are funded out of supplemental dollars. You can see that this year our supplemental grant is 6.8 million. Next year it's growing to 7.3 million. So that's where the funding comes from in order to afford those changes in the LCAP.
Okay. Mr. Heinlein, lastly, I just want to recognize that you've been working on this for quite some time, shorthanded. So we appreciate your extra effort and hard work.
Thank you.
Any other
Yes,
questions?
I will second that. I don't have any other questions, but I do have one comment, and I think normally people would say you're Mr. Doom and Gloom, but I would say that
that's
you
a true.
use more kind words about the state budget. And I will just read a headline that came out this morning from the Legislative Analyst's Office criticizes Newsom's education budget for risky funding practices. And this goes back to something that they did last year and something that they're trying to do this year, which is deferring monies from one year to another. And the net effect of that is it changes the Prop 98 guarantee in a negative way. And that's one thing that I know that school board members across the state have been lobbying about with our legislators. So if any of you happen to run into your legislator in the grocery store, there's something to tell them about.
Anyone else?
I don't think you're doom and gloom. I think you're just all about the numbers.
There we go.
I have one just question for clarification on the budget attachment, the other one. Under salaries, the current estimated actuals that does not yet include the retro, is that correct?
It does, but it is a calculated retro, not what it actually will be. So
Okay.
it is us adding 2%, but it's
not exact.
Yes.
Okay, and then for the fall, for the 25-26 budget, the percentage increases are like 5 and 6. Is that all step increases, or is some of that for like positions that should be filled but are not?
That's the other really hard thing this year was the inability of us to hire some folks in SLP positions, resource positions, and having to use agencies, right? So when we use an agency, we are taking what we have budgeted in the 1,000s, 2,000s, and 3,000s, right? The salaries and benefits, and moving it to services. So part of that increase in next year's budget is that we always start the year with the assumption that we are filling all of those positions and we're not going to need any agency people, right? So round about July or August is when we start saying, oh, okay, we're going to have to see if we can find an agency person for this position. And then we will start moving the budget into the 5,000s to cover that. But that's why you also see large swings in the 5,000s and those salary objects because of that.
Thanks.
Sure.
Ms. Grease? And just thank you so much for always doing a really thorough job with the budget, explaining things in a way that makes it easy to understand. I actually like the summary that you provided about property taxes, right? It's very simple. So the more property tax you get, the less you get from the state. That's easy to understand. I appreciate that. And I'm sure our parents and families appreciate that as well. So thank you, Mr. Hyman.
Of course.
Okay, moving on to education services. We are going to conduct a public hearing for local control and accountability plan 25-26. The public hearing is now open at 8:19 p.m. Are there any public comments on this item? Okay. Seeing none, we will go ahead and close the public hearing at 8:19 p.m. and move on to our next public hearing, which is the budget public hearing, conducting a public hearing for fiscal year 25-26 budget. The public hearing is now open at 8:19 p.m. Are there any public comments on this item? Okay, seeing none, we will close the public hearing at 8:19. Thank you. Moving on to approval to declare certain district-owned property as surplus. Do we have a motion and a second?
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? No? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose? No? Okay, motion passes. Our next meeting is scheduled for June 24th. And what else do we have here? Yeah, next meeting is scheduled for June 24th. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned at 8:20 p.m.
We have to vote.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No? Motion passes. Thank you. Have a good night, everybody.